As she said, my name is Taylor Still, and I will be teaching you how to cut glass today. What I'll be doing is teaching you a creative way to cut glass. And by cutting glass, I don't mean taking a steak knife and sawing at the glass or taking a hammer and just hitting it. We're actually going to use a little bit of chemistry, and some of the things that you will need are 3 bowls, which is what I have with me today. And then I have 1 measuring cup. You will also need fingernail polish remover, any kind will work as long as it is acetone. So there is a kind that's for fake nails and it doesn't contain a lot of acetone, but this is just regular. So that's the kind of you should get. And then I have a lighter, and you can either use a lighter, you can use matches, or if you're more comfortable with the long lighters, you can use those. I just always use these, so it works a little easier. Next, you'll need some polyester yarn, and the reason I stress polyester is because as ugly as it is on pants, it actually is really good for this project because it burns a lot hotter, and if you use regular yarn, it won't burn as hot. Then you'll need a pair of scissors, and obviously your glass bottles. I have 3 different types of glass bottles with me today. This one has a little cone in the bottom of it. I find that these ones break the easiest. This one is just a plain bottle, no tint to it, nothing. And this one is a regular bottle, but it has some tint to it, and sometimes the tinted ones, for some reason, do not work the best. Before I can start this, I really have to stress all the safety. You need to make sure there's a fire extinguisher somewhere on hand, and luckily we have one right around the corner, so we're going to go there. And then you'll need some fireproof gloves. I have my old leather work gloves with me. And then you'll need to have your hair pulled back, which I'm about to do. And then no loose fitting clothing. And the reason for the last 2 are because 1, I wear a lot of hairspray, and even if you don't, your hair is still flammable, and if you're leaning over, your hair could get in a flame. And then loose clothing, pretty much the same idea. If you lean over, your clothes could get in fire, and no one needs burning hot clothes on their body. I'm going to go through the general process with you. First of all, before I got here, I cleaned the bottle, removed all the stickers. You can leave the labels on, but if they're more of a plastic label instead of a paper, they will burn and kind of crinkle up, so I suggest taking them off. The second thing you do is you will take the yarn and wrap it around the bottle 6 to 7 times, and that's very important that you get enough times. You also want to cut loose ends off because they will burn, and you don't need loose ends flying around that are on fire, obviously. And then once you have your yarn wrapped around the bottle, I'm going to take it off, and I'm going to soak it in my acetone, and you're going to squeeze off all the excess because you don't want it to drip while it's burning. And after it's been ignited, you want to hold it about arm's length away and just rotate the bottle at a constant rate. It's very important to rotate it at a constant rate because if you don't, one side of the bottle will burn a little hotter than the other, and that'll cause a lot of fractures in your bottle when you put it into the water. You want to keep the neck of the bottle tilted upwards because that keeps the heat inside the bottle and will cause the molecules to expand a little more. And once the flame goes out, you want to plunge it into the cold water, and it's pretty cool what happens next. The pieces should just separate. This isn't foolproof, and sometimes it doesn't work. It could be the bottle, it could be the yarn didn't burn hot enough. There are a lot of factors to this, so if it doesn't work the first time, then we'll try it again and hopefully it'll work. I'm gonna do this. Hopefully I don't hit my head. This is the yarn that I'm going to use, and I'm just going to wrap it around 6 to 7 times. And you want to hold the end. I'm going to hold it with my thumb, and you're just going to wrap. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go 6. And then just cut it off, and you're going to take your ends, and you're going to tie a regular knot. You don't have to be fancy. Tie a bow or anything. And then you want to cut the ends off as close to the knot as possible. Once you have this done, you're going to slide it off the bottle. And I'm going to put it in my first bowl and take my acetone, and I'm going to put that on the yarn. The yarn will absorb a lot of the acetone, so you want to make sure you wring it out. And I normally just wrap around my fingers twice and then just kind of wring it out. Girls, if you have your nails painted all cute and pretty, this is the project for you. This will take the nail polish right off. And then you're just going to gently slide it back on. One thing that's really important about this is you want to make sure your yarn is straight around as possible, because if it's at a diagonal, the glass will cut that way. So just go around and make sure it's where you want it. And I'm going to wash my hands off. Put my eye protection on. My gloves. Everyone cross your fingers. It will be a big flame as soon as I light it, but it will get smaller, so. And I'm keeping the neck of the bottle tilted up, and I'm turning it at a constant rate, and this will create an equal burn. And right now the molecules are speeding up, and the glass will essentially get a little bit softer, and then when we put it into the water, it'll create such a dramatic temperature change that the glass will break in the affected areas. So just keep rotating it, and when it starts to go out, it'll look like the flame is going, like making a circle around the bottle, and that's when you know it's about to go out. It normally stays lit for about 30 seconds, and right now it's running around the bottle, so it should be going out pretty soon, and then I'm going to put it in cold water. Hopefully, this will work. Okay, maybe it doesn't want to go out yet. Depending on how well you bring out the excess, it can burn longer or shorter. There you have it. One thing that I really have to stress to you, this is why I put a slide that says warning on it, this is going to be very, very, very hot. So my recommended thing is to leave it in there for 15 to 20 seconds, so that way you know it's been cooled off enough. Also, the edges will be very, very sharp, and luckily I haven't cut myself or burnt myself doing this project yet, knock on wood. So it's cool enough you can take it out now. Set it over here. And I hope you guys can see it. They just separate. So this is what your end product will look like. And you've got to be wondering, what could you possibly do this, or what could you use a cut bottle for? Well, I'm actually going to show you some of the projects that I've done, and then I'll be teaching you one of the projects. Let's move this out of the way. I had a bottle that was really tall and kind of obnoxious, so I decided to cut it, and I made it just tall enough so that it'd be a good drinking glass, and you just sand the edges with a belt sander, and you have a new drinking glass. Or if you have a plain bottle, you can put a candle inside of it, and you have a candle holder. Now this is actually a nightlight that I made. I cut the bottom off of it, I put the lights inside of it, and then I used a glue that's specially made to seal glass on glass, and I put it back together. Now this is a bottle that I have already sanded and got it kind of cleared off, but got cracked all the way here. But I'm going to make for you a hanging glass planter. This is something that I did for one of my 4-H projects, and it did really well, so I thought maybe you guys would learn how to make one for yourself. I have a 5x5 inch piece of screen. You can get this at any hardware, lumberyard, anywhere you go. I have a bag of plants, and I have wire, dirt, moss, and peat moss. These are really important because the peat moss mixed with the soil will help this retain water. The moss will help it retain even more water and makes it look pretty. And I chose to use the plant Wandering Jew because it's delicate, but yet it's one of those plants that can survive without a lot of water. And obviously that's really good for the drought that we've had this summer. So take my plant out. The first thing you want to do is take your screen and your scissors, and you're going to cut an X or a T, depending on what way you're looking at it. After you have that, you're going to take the corners and you're going to bend them up and create kind of a circle in the middle of your screen. And then take it and press down and bring all the corners together, and you're going to make a little pocket. Now you don't want your pocket to be too rounded. I suggest having it more long. So just do that. The next thing, you're going to take your plants and put the roots. So you want to gently put the roots in through the screen. It's a very big root system. So, okay. You're going to take them and put them in through the bottom of it and just kind of work them in there. Try not to break your flower while you're doing it. Okay, now in my mixing cup, I'm going to combine some soil and peat moss. And peat moss helps soil retain water, so that's really good for this project. And it's a good thing I'm the last person because I'm making a mess. So after you have all that mixed, you're going to add it into your mesh. And I really suggest getting a mesh that's very fine, because if it's too open, then the dirt will just fall right through. So get as fine a mesh as you can, or screen. Pour your dirt in, and then you're going to take your little pocket and you're just going to fold it around. And you're just going to fold your wire and squeeze it shut. So now you can set this aside. Hopefully. And pretty good. So, okay. You're going to take your moss and get it ready, and take your wire, and I normally cut about a foot off. So, you can make it as long or as short as you want, but you're going to take your wire and you're just going to kind of thread it through the mesh screen. Now, even though I haven't cut myself or burnt myself on the cutting of the glass, I have cut myself on the screen, so you want to be really careful when handling it because it's really sharp. Okay, so now that you have your plant on there, you're going to take your moss, and I'm using regular sheet moss today because I feel like it works the best for this project. And you're going to wrap it as best you can around your mesh. Try to get it as thin as you can, because it'll go in the bottle easier that way. So you're going to thread the wire through the top of the bottle and gently squeeze and push the moss at the same time. And sometimes it won't go all the way up, and so I just leave it like this because it looks like it's growing on the bottle, and you can add peat rocks inside the top, and that helps funnel the water a little bit. And I'll hold, and if I had more time I'd do the video, but I normally just loop it down like this. Just make some loops. And you can hang these on your deck, patio. You can put them in your garden on shepherd hooks. They look pretty wherever you put them. And to water them, you just put the water through the top, and the moss and everything helps keep the water inside. So, here you have it. Are there any questions? Oh, come on, I lit stuff on fire. There's gotta be questions. Yep? Yeah, definitely. The question was, could I cut the bottle up any further? On this one, I just chose to cut it down here, but you sure can cut it right here. It doesn't really matter. The only thing that I would have a problem with is if I was cutting it right here, you can't hold it on the neck of the bottle, so you'd have to hold it like this while you turn it. That's the only thing that would be different. Anyone else? Yep.
What caused you to become interested in glass cutting?
The question was what caused me to become interested in glass cutting. I would have to say it was because I saw that people had been doing stuff online, like these planters, and I thought they were really cool and I wanted to make some for myself, but all of them were using special glass diamond cutters that obviously I can't afford. So I got to looking and researching on it, and I found that some people, even a guy in our town, had been using this method for a really long time. And the first time I tried it, my mom had a fire extinguisher ready to go and was sitting in the corner of the room, hoping I didn't burn the house down, but it all worked out, and I've done it probably 30 times. I've made a lot of these. Anyone else?